Hi everyone, I'm Manisha, the founder of Modulo, and the subject of today's video is how to teach your children math if you're bad at math yourself. Now, first of all, I just want to say I don't think anyone is innately bad at math, but that's a topic for a whole other video. It would take me a really long time and a lot of attention to convince you that you're a math person if you don't think you're a math person. So, this is what I want to say. First of all, even if you're bad at math, even if you don't know how to teach, there is still one thing that you do know how to do, and that's how to learn. And if you can model learning to your child, they will be capable of almost anything. So, what I really suggest is when you're starting this process of helping to teach your child math, what you actually do is simply learn math with your child. And when you encounter something that you don't know, you can use resources to help you get to the bottom of the problem, whether that's Google or ChatGPT or trying to find a tutorial on YouTube. And as your child sees you encounter something with humility that you don't know, and instead of giving up, diving into that frustration and deciding you are going to continue and you're going to learn, that models confidence to them, that models grit to them, that models growth mindset to them. And then they start to see how they can use all of these resources to push forward. Now, there's a really fun math program called Prodigy Game, which you may have heard of because it's hundreds of millions of people use it. And it's typically used as more of a math supplement. A lot of people use it in schools, but we like to use it at Modulo as the main math curriculum for a lot of students because we find that when students are involved in answering problems like they do in the Prodigy Game, it gives them context for what they're learning. So, just to give you a basic overview, and then we're going to go through Prodigy Game together the way that I do with students, how I train tutors to go through it with students. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what Prodigy Game is. It's basically a Pokemon style game where kids are given math problems and then they can gain these virtual prizes when they get the math problem right or wrong. Very simple. And there's video tutorials if they get stuck. The other kind of neat thing is that when you start off Prodigy Game, it's giving children a test, even though they don't feel like they're doing a test. And so it's able to actually give them problems in areas that they have gaps instead of just giving them the same problems that they already know better. So, sometimes parents feel like, oh, I really want my kid to love math for math itself. But we do find that it's nice to have a balance of these extrinsic rewards, the bells and whistles, and the intrinsic words of loving math itself. There's a lot of different math programs that I like to recommend. If you want to start by seeing what's the best math program for your child, then I would suggest going to Modulo and checking out our free curriculum planner where you can enter information about your child's favorite activities, if they have any special needs like gifted in math or dyscalculia, and that will help give you a sense of what kind of curriculum your child is going to love. And all of these curriculum we recommend are specifically designed for parents and caregivers who may or may not be good at math in supporting their children in learning math. So this is the reason that I'm suggesting Prodigy Game is because it's the one we recommend the most, and it's especially good for children who have low confidence in math or be struggling. I'm assuming that if you're coming to this video, you maybe have a problem with helping your kid learn math. But if your child, sometimes the case is also that your child might be a little bit more accelerated in math than you, and this can also be a great tool. And all right, so let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. And this is the Prodigy Game. By the way, it's free. And we're going to select Play Now. We're going to choose Math. They also recently developed an English game. Loading our game. You see there's lots of very...
What grade are you in?
Now we're just going to start with the easiest grade, grade 1.
Well,
So the
don't worry.
part where
You can change this later.
basic reward. You get to choose a hairstyle, eye color, hair color, skin color. All right,
Are you
done.
playing from home
And then the
or
next
from
thing that
school?
they ask is, are you playing at school or at home? Now, Modulo does have homeschool codes, which you can use as part of our community if your child wants to play with other kids, but we're just going to choose home for now.
Are you
Done.
playing from home
For some reason, it keeps asking us this. Okay, so now it's going. The wizard is playing.
Hi, my name is Newt.
And it says, "Hi, my name is
to the
Newt."
Wizard
Blah
Academy
blah
on their
blah.
first day. Let's go to the.
Let's go. Okay. Here's the lovely music playing. And
Hi. Are you the new wizard?
we are going
My name is
to
Theo. I'm a student here too. Magic
this
battles
part
are
of
the
the
most.
story.
Wow, you're first.
We still haven't gotten to the math part yet. So they're about to give us a problem.
Choose a spell to cast.
So we're going to choose a spell. This is just the Pokemon part. Okay. Hopefully. So now they're saying do some magic to fill up our points. I thought we weren't going to get to the math at all. Okay. So basically, what I want to show you here is that there's a lot of options to help you. So what we want to do here is, as we're helping our children work through these problems, we want to encourage them to use the tools at their disposal. So maybe your kid might say, "Oh, it's so hard for me to read this." So we might say, "Hey, let's try checking out this read out loud feature." So, and then you can see they read it out loud.
Yellow star.
And then, so then we'll go together through it. Which shape is there more of? And you see this little light bulb here. This is another example of a tool that your child can use if they get stuck. So maybe your child is already going to know which there's more of. And again, this is very easy. You might get into more difficult questions where, like advanced algebra, where you're not sure. And in the case that you're not sure, you can just click on this light bulb and it says more means there's a greater number of that shape. And here, maybe your child doesn't even understand that. And again, you can also
More means
have
there is a
them read
greater
it out
number
loud.
of that shape. More means
Then
there is a greater number
we
of
could
that shape.
say, okay, well, more means there's a greater number of that shape. And if your child says, "I don't get it," I really encourage you to take the time to pause. A lot of times parents ask a question and then if their child doesn't answer it immediately, they get kind of frantic and answer the question themselves. But sometimes whenever a question is asked, a child's wheels start turning. They start wondering what this is, and it might be that the answer comes a day later, and that's okay. So you can say, like, more means there's a greater number of that shape. For example, a great teaching question might be, can you think of a greater number? Is mommy's age a greater number than your age, or is it a less number than your age? Okay, so those are the kind of questions that you can put out there. And maybe your child is going to have an answer, maybe they're not, maybe you're going to be met with silence, but silence is just gold for learning. Okay, so let's say that we pick yellow star here. Okay, we're going to get it right. Oh, and by the way, you can use these crayons to kind of guess, draw more shapes, erase. That can be a helpful tool. So then we're going to get magic. We got it correct. So they're bringing us back to the battle. So you can kind of see how it goes along with that. All right, I'm going to shut down Prodigy for now. Yeah, so I think that Prodigy can be a really helpful tool for you to support your child with math, even if you're not a math person. The main thing is really to guide them through asking questions, and children will actually take you more seriously if your questions are real. Maybe you didn't know what more than or less than meant. And so if you're diving into these questions together, treating your child as a team member, using tools at your disposal to kind of try to help you answer them, maybe you could ask ChatGPT a question like, "Hey, me and my kid don't really understand what more than or less than means. Could you help us explain it in a way that would make it easier and maybe give us examples in our own life?" And then when your child sees you using these tools to help you understand, they are going to be really inspired. That type of humble learning is contagious. And you can just keep, it's funny because I've been a teacher for many, many years, and you start out teaching one subject. Like I started out tutoring the SAT, and then I taught French. And then in 5 years, I was tutoring 18 different subjects, including foreign languages I didn't know. And the more and more masterful a teacher I became, the more I simply just said, "I don't know." And by saying, "I don't know," what I was actually saying is, I have confidence that you, child, have the resources within you to find the answer to these problems. So that I don't know is incredibly powerful. And if you really come in that spirit of learning, in that spirit of humility, in that spirit of I don't know, and that's exciting. Your child is going to tap into this incredible reservoir that they didn't even know was available. So it's not a bad thing if you're bad at math. In fact, it might be even a better thing because what you're saying is that when you do things that are hard to learn and grow, the rewards are enormous. And I believe in you and I believe in us and that we can learn. So that's how to help your child with math if you don't consider yourself good at math. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Again, definitely check out Prodigy or use our free curriculum planner to find the right curriculum for you.